Do not blame me for your failures.
You're okay.
Plate to put our tips in. I'm going to use this lid to dump a whole big bunch of these out. And then you just simply pinch off the tips. Try not to get too much of it off. Make sure they look very fresh and no brown spots. I usually start out with 45 minutes and I check them after 45 minutes and then I'll add extra time if that's needed. Okay? Next, you need to get out the mushrooms.
2 white whole mushrooms.
It's the 1 pound packages.
1 pound package.
We cut off the stems. I want you to get out the red colanders. Mushrooms are taken right out of the dirt, so they're going to have dirt on them. All right, take your mushroom. Okay. You're going to take off half the stem. That goes in the plate. Turn it upside down. And then we're going to slice in like 1/4-inch slices and then put them in the colander. You're going to want to spray the mushrooms. Whoa. The can is slippery. Just like that.
How long do you fry them and on
until
what?
They're done. I told you on a low heat.
On a low heat, you fry them until they're done. So like what color should they be?
I'll show you what they look like when they're done.
Okay.
See, that's a kind of a low heat.
So
That'll be all right.
So find a lid that works.
Yeah.
Keep it covered until you're stirring.
Yeah, because why you keep it covered is when you keep the heat in, the steam, it cooks quickly.
Got it.
And throughout.
Okay.
If you don't have a lid, then all that steam is going out into the atmosphere and it can dry them, they can burn. What you're gonna do is you're gonna keep your lid on until you basically have a little broth in there.
Okay.
And you wanna keep turning them. And once you get that broth and they're looking like they're pretty cooked, then take the lid off and naturally the heat will evaporate the broth and that helps the final cook and it gets it to what is considered a mushroom brown bit.
Okay.
And that's when all that just slightly crispy tastiness comes out.
Okay.
That's how you want to get them. We're going to get a very big bowl over here, and we're going to mix the cream of mushroom soup and evaporated milk sauce.
How many cans of each?
I usually use 4 cans of cream of mushroom soup and 1 can of evaporated milk.
Okay.
And then I sometimes have to add a little regular milk in with it.
Okay.
So go get the purple bowl. Okay, you take a manual can opener that has the sharp point and you just take it by the edge and you go like this and it makes a triangle. And you have to do 2, 1 on each side, so that as you're pouring, air comes in this one and forces the liquid out the other hole.
Got it.
I got 2 bags of green beans and normally I get 3.
Right. So we're starting with 3 cans of cream of mushroom and we're gonna eyeball it.
I poured in some of the evaporated milk just so that it can mix, you know, and it's not all on the top.
It looked like about half of the can.
Yeah, close to a half can.
Take a whisk.
A good sized whisk. The reason we use this big purple bowl is because once we get this mixture in, and the green beans complete, and we're going to put the green beans through the colander to get any excess water and steam out.
Yeah.
Then we're going to put the mushrooms in. And at that point, you just gently fold because you don't want to break your green beans. You want your green beans to be more whole. So we're just testing out how much evaporated. And I use evaporated milk instead of milk because I like a richer taste with my green bean. But you can see this is still pretty thick. So we're going to use some more. You want it to be runny enough to be able to fold all of the green beans and mushrooms into it well.
Okay.
But you don't want it to be so runny that it will never thicken up when you bake it. So honestly, it's an eyeball call. My mom passed away my first semester in college. So I never went back to my house for a meal. The first year she was gone, my sister and I did the entire Thanksgiving meal because we needed our dad to have a meal. My sister was less experienced, so let me tell you a funny story. And now if I make fruit salad, I'm using fresh fruit. And then I fold Cool Whip into the fresh fruit. My mother, she grew up using canned food of every kind. Mm-hmm. So she would open up a can of fruit cocktail. Now, I didn't care for fruit cocktail only because they would include grapes, and I've never liked grapes. So I would pick my grapes out, but she would use 2 or 3 cans of fruit cocktail, drain it in a colander very well, then put it in a bowl, and then fold in the Cool Whip. Well, that first Thanksgiving after she passed away, and my sister and I were making Thanksgiving dinner for my father, Tempest did not know that you're supposed to drain the fruit cocktail. So she opened 3 cans of fruit cocktail, poured it all into a bowl, and then added Cool Whip to it, and then said, "Chrissy, why doesn't this look right?" So back then, there were no grocery stores open on Christmas Day. Only party stores, which are, now they're called convenience stores. We call them party stores. So we had to find a party store that actually stocked fruit cocktail.
Yeah.
And we paid, of course, double for it. Mm-hmm. So, and then I had to show her how to make fruit cocktail. This is a pretty good consistency. You can see it moves. So, I am going to be able to mix the green beans in now. If I find that there's not enough mixture to cover all the green beans, then I'm going to start slowly adding milk. Okay, you'll notice all the steam bubbles. So when you first do this, you want to hold it like this so all the water goes back into the pan. Now you'll see what I was talking about. It almost makes like a broth.
Yeah.
So I've taken the lid off, and now I'm going to just let them cook. That broth is going to evaporate, and then you're going to start hearing just light sizzling, and it's getting what it's brown bit, but it's for mushrooms.
We had to put another 15 minutes because they weren't cooking. So sometimes you gotta do that. Or I'm eating a cookie. This is what they look like.
Is the broth cooking down?
It is.
Get off the steamer. You've got to be careful, because I'm telling you, steam. See, it's already burning me. Steam is a killer. Okay, come here. I want you to take a bite. So it's still a little crunchy. So we're gonna put it on for another 10 minutes. Start with 45 minutes. I've added 15. Now I've added 10. So we're working on an hour and 10 minutes. But again, you just want to put it little bits extra at a time, because you cannot take back, but you can add more. I just pour it right into the soup mixture. All I did was fold in the mushrooms, so they're all ready to go. And as soon as the green beans get soft enough and we put them in the colander and drain all the excess steam and water off of them, they will be put in. And then I use a spatula, and you just fold the beans, because otherwise they'll break. And you want your beans to be as long as possible.
And
so you just fold
what do you put the oven on?
When I'm ready to bake, which won't be till tomorrow morning, I at 350. It's your basic temperature. I put the green bean casserole. Now, we're going to put the green bean casserole in the 9x13 can. We are not, however, going to put the French onions on, because they get soggy.
Right.
You put the French onions on them right before you put them in the oven. And one box, not the big box, just one regular box, will cover a 9x13 pan.
So you cover them just on the top layer. You put it in at 350 degrees for about an hour.
Yep. Fold. Be very careful. You want to get from the bottom and bring them over to the top.
You're gonna put this into a 9x13.
I'm gonna spray ham.
Well, yes. You're gonna put that into that. Cover it with crunchy onions. Put it in for 350 for 1 hour.
Tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning.
Yes, Thanksgiving morning.
Thanksgiving morning. And then you're gonna take it out.
Let it sit
for 30 minutes.
and then put the lid on it.
and then drive. Pay attention.
And you want to don't take off too much, just the very tip, because you want as much of the product as you can so you didn't waste your money. The ones we saw at Walmart were hideous. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Love train. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. J-I-N-G-L-E bells. Cooking a meal like this will exhaust you. Oh, holy night. Beautiful.
Eyeball call.
Eyeball call. And tape, just skip over this. Oh, great. So I'm showing the light glowing down on my gray. I look beautiful.
You do look beautiful. Knock it off. This is for posterity.
Posterity! I know this is like what the Christians call their little white sin. Okay. We gotta sneak donuts and kolaches in our purse. So I'm not eating popcorn. I'll buy a drink, but I'm not eating popcorn at 8 o'clock in the morning.
You know, me and God, we're like this. I don't know.
He'll know, dear. You will always get a holiday or party burn. Expect it. You'll probably have 2 or 3 before it's all said and done. You gave it to me, you were recording, and then gave it to me, and all I did was hold it over the bowl. Don't do that.